Well, after the last video, I made the big decision that we were going to go for reconstruction, although at the moment it feels more like destruction. So the following video includes some bits from the start of removing the track. I'm playing with my new GoPro, so if the video quality is a bit not up to my normal standard, well, my standard's not very high anyway, so but if it's not brilliant, please do accept apologies and accept that also it's a little bit of a sad time, really. You know, you invest a lot in putting things onto a railway and then you have to get to the point where you take it to bits. So I hope you'll enjoy the first of what will be a series of short videos looking at the reconstruction of the layout. So I've decided, after thinking about it and after the comments of course on the last video, that I'm going to have to bite the bullet and actually do some alterations. It's a bit painful to get rid of some of the scenery that took a lot of time, a lot of effort, and it's going to be quite a challenge. It's going to mean the railway out of action for a while, but I think the only answer is to do it. I think in the long run it'll give a better railway and one that's more reliable, which is what we want. So the first stage I think is going to be the area up from the terminal station up towards the curve that was causing me problems. So I think it's going to be a case of stripping out the tracks that go down, which are going to be redundant. So take those out first, then strip the tracks that are going up the hill completely out, including the points, and that will then leave me with the main terminal board with two double slips that just overhang the end of the board, and that will be a good place to break. So I can take out all this middle section. That'll be the first job. Then the second job will be to raise the terminal up to the level of the middle station at the back, and then put a new flat board in, and I'll use what were the two tracks going down to make two more head shunts. Might even manage to perhaps put a little bit of industry or something down here, something of interest, just to make the board more interesting. So just to give you a little bit more detail of what I've been talking about, as you can see I've got two double slips here coming out of the terminal station, and the board joint is across here, so those two double slips just extend about 2 centimeters over the end, so I can take this board out from underneath and leave those hanging, which will then free that board up ready to be raised. Coming this way, that point will be removed, it'll go back in later. The track going down the back and into the tunnel mouth, that will all disappear. Similarly, the one at the front here coming down and going into this tunnel mouth. The head shunt remain. So as I say, we'll think about what we do, and then probably most of this board in the corner will get stripped in terms of track. In fact, I'm wondering whether it might not be a bad idea just to try and ease the curve, but have a think about that one, see about whether I can ease the curves a little bit. So that most of it will come out. This tunnel, the tunnel mouth at the front here will come out, and that will then ease, free the main board for the middle station, ready to, so I can lift that to get in at the track underneath. So it sounds a little bit sort of drastic, certainly feels a little bit drastic, but I'll try and do lots of videos showing what happens as I start, just so that you can see progress, and wish me luck. So first bit I'm going to tackle is this track coming down here, and I'm just going to start by soaking the ballast. This was held down with PVA, dilute PVA, so it should soften up quite easily. If I could get my sprinkler to try again. Bad workman blames their tools, I know, but let's see if we can get this to go to spray. Yeah, I think that's better. So good soak. Soften up the glue. So the ballast is stuck down, as I say, with weak PVA, diluted about 50-50 with water, a drop of washing up liquid, and a little bit of, what's that chemical? I can't remember. But never mind, I'll find out and come back to it in the next bit. It was isopropyl alcohol, isn't it? That's the stuff. It was stuff that became very scarce during COVID because everyone thought it was a good disinfectant. Anyway, so put some water on and begin to letting it soak, and it's actually coming out quite easily. So just scraping out the ballast, and it's going to take a little while to go down, and then once I get the track up I can give it a good clean up anyway, but the more I can get out, and particularly make sure I find any track screws that I put in. I didn't put very many in on this railway, but invariably you find them just when you don't want them. But this is just beginning to loosen up nicely. And what I need to do is go up to the joint up here. I need to put a bit more water on there. Hasn't yet softened up. So this is going to be very boring just to watch this, so we'll have a little break and see how I get on. So I've got some of the ballast up, dug out quite a bit, found quite a few pins. I'm just going to do a little vacuum up. I decided not to try and get all the ballast off. I think I'll be able to just gently prise the whole track up. Hopefully I've got all the pins. So moment of truth, we'll just get in underneath and just see if we can leave it up and find out if we've got any more track pins anywhere. I'm not sure how much of this track is going to be reusable. Hopefully quite a bit. But if the worst comes to the worst, well, it's not that much of a loss if we have to replace it. That's coming up okay along here, so that's looking quite good. Okay, so that's that outside curve. And just work my way down gently. A little bit at a time. Really what I'm looking for is any more track pins that I've missed so far. Okay, not too bad so far. Okay, so I'm going to carry on. Get a feeling there might be a pin somewhere along here. It just feels a little bit more resistance. Anyway, so I'm just going to stop the recording there, do a little bit more tidying up, and then hopefully show you what's happened. So after finding a couple of more pins, as you always do, obviously, got the track up, so it's now a case of trying to pull it out. So that's off that end, and at this end, of course, I've got my jumpers, which I'll need to disconnect from underneath. So that's my first section of track out, and now I can start to clean up that piece of track. I can then remove the piece that goes up towards the points, and then that will give us my first bit cleared. Point of no return. So that's the first panel out, and whilst the ballast on it is still damp, I'm just going to go along and clear out as much as I can. It comes off pretty quickly and easily. and then hopefully I'll be able to reuse this piece of track. So you can see I've got the droppers I've pulled out from underneath. I used the famous Chadwick policy of black to the back and red to the front. So that's my standard convention. And also underneath the board, the terminal blocks that Charlie recommended, which are great for paralleling up lots and lots of jumpers. So I'll just get on with this. Alright, so that's that panel of track cleaned out, most of the ballast off. There's a few little bits here and there, you can see. Just need to, but probably most of those will brush off once it's dried again. So vacuum up, and that'll do it for today, I think, and pick up tomorrow with a bit more.